Welcome back to another short video on drawing. This time we're going to take a look at portraiture, but really brief overview. Again, the premise behind these short videos is that you get to the foundations of the problem. Okay, the rest of it you're going to have to work out yourselves through practice and research. It's normal. Right, here we go. We started off these shorts with the idea that if you could draw basic geometric form, you can draw pretty much everything. So let's get quick revision to the idea that I can draw a sphere. Reminder, find the equator, fix a light source, build the core shadow here on this part of the equator, a little bit of shading around the edges, break down this shadow so there's an area of direct light, pick up a little bit that edge, and we are already getting to the point where this thing's starting to stand out, so we can use it. So let's move on, take that very form and build it into the structure of the human head. First of all, the human head is approximately symmetrical. Of course, none of us are. When you're looking at the Photoshop stuff and the models, one of the things about the models that you might notice is that they tend to be very symmetrical, much more so than you'd find in regular life. So, one circle, second circle about half the size, join those two, and we've got an approximation of the human head. Neck comes from behind the ears. If you don't believe me, all you got to do is put your hands there. The reasoning being, of course, if the neck wasn't that large, your head would drop off. Which is one of the reasons why, for those of you who've got little siblings in the house, you know, there's babies around, or you've got cousins or something, you always support the neck of a small child, because their neck muscles are not big enough to support, strong enough to support their heads. Right, top, chin, eyes about halfway, nose about halfway, mouth about halfway, halfway. Easy to remember. Of course, there's as many ways of doing this as there are people. But again, what I'm reiterating to you is that I'm trying to give you an easy key into this. Now, for some of you, you can just skip this if you know all this stuff. That's not a problem. But make sure you know it first. For many people, and I've been teaching this stuff for a long time, there's a lot of people who are convinced that they can't draw very well, or that they can't draw at all, or that they've not done anything for the last few years. I reiterate that all of you can learn to draw. Some of you will be okay and fit for purpose, some of you will be quite good, and some of you will be absolutely stunning. And that will determine how you use it and in which industry you're going into. But it's an incredibly useful tool in terms of self-expression, and it's pretty quick to do. So make sure you've got a considerable amount of drawing in your sketchbooks, and certainly it plays a significant role in the development of your projects. So, eyes. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 approximately. Do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space, 5. Split between the ears. The ears you will find between the eyes and the nose. So, there's the structure for the human face. So let's just bring in a light source. Shadow underneath the chin. You're going to have shadow underneath the eyes. You're going to have shadow down the side of the nose and underneath the nose. You're going to have shadow underneath the top lip and shadow underneath the bottom lip and some shadow on the chin. Of course, a little bit of shadow in some of the dark areas, a little bit of shading around the edge, a little bit of shading down that edge. Shoulders, and already we haven't put any features in yet, but you're beginning to get that feel of the human head. Now, of course, if I wanted to go off and create a robot or some kind of artificial intelligence or alien, all I need to do is to change a couple of the shapes and to continue with the same process. I could continue with the rendering to make it look as though it's shiny and some kind of metallic structure if it was skin, if it was a robot. Let's just stick with the idea that it's human for now. So of course I'd need to break down the shading. I'd need to bring in some reference to the eyes. We can build the nose. And you don't need to worry about this too much at the moment. I'll do another short vid on the features themselves so that you can practice those. Mouth. Hair. This is an important one. Now, in my case, obviously I don't have any, so it's no big deal. You just shade it as you would an egg. But hair is better done in shape. You see people attacking the drawing of hair by drawing each individual hair. You're going to be there forever. It's much easier to think in terms of shape, and then you break down those shapes. So, for example, so I can start to shade here. I can shade behind there. If there's hair here, I can shade it there a little bit. And then of course I can break down some of the lines. So, from a few simple, in this case 2 circles, halfway, halfway, halfway in terms of the proportions, ears between the nose and the eyes, neck coming out from behind the ears, shoulders much higher than most people put them in, hair in terms of shape. With a bit of practice you can easily get there, and if you can get there, stuff like fashion illustration is definitely within reach. So the premise is back to basics. So whichever level you're at, just take a step back, make sure that you've fully understood what you're doing, practice, and research, look at other people's work. That's all for now. See you soon.